It's Matt Chat and we're answering your questions. The first comes from Drake Swan. Roman, Cody, or Mommy? Depends what we're talking about here, doesn't it? Cody or Mommy? It's like Mommy, Cody, and then Roman Reigns. Roman's not doing much for me lately. He's just, his whole story and this whole tribal chief final boss situation, he's doing a whole lot of nothing. I'm finding Roman rather boring at this point. I'm curious what's gonna happen at Mania. So we'll go Mommy number one. Mini Maestro 26 says, who's your favorite wrestler to use? Hope you have a good day. I hope you have a good day. Favorite wrestler to use in 2K24? Probably right now. Ooh, what the hell am I doing? I'm usually like just a retro guy. So like I like to go in there and play a Stone Cold, Triple H, Rock. Play as a lot of them. Ricochet I find is fun to play as. I'll go and dabble in with some cruiserweights, Rey Mysterio. And then I'm just trying to think of like usual matches I'm doing. Yeah, usually like Cody or Jey Uso as well. So I give you a couple there. Real MJP Music says, what's your favorite era of WWE? So I've had time to think about this because this question comes up a lot. And obviously, like for me, I grew up Attitude Era. So that's always my default. It's like, well, I love the Attitude Era. But I often think, and I watch like old episodes of Raw and even SmackDown during that time, like 99, and then Raw's War. And the thing is that Raw was, specifically Raw, during the Attitude Era, it is like, it's hype nostalgia, like it's nostalgia to the 10th degree. There were so many big moments during the Attitude Era. You had Undertaker, a Ministry of Darkness, it had a lot of fun. But there's a lot of bad when it comes to Raw during that era. Matches were like 3 minutes long. Like even just top matches, like Kane would be in a match against X-Pac and it'd be 4 minutes. Because it would just bang, 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 bang. There's only 2 hours of TV and that's all you got. And you're flipping between WCW. But I started realizing now that I'm like, man, there's a lot of bad stuff. And a lot of, if you go back and you watch early, like you watch like 96, 97, there's a lot of wrestlers on there. You're just kind of like, who is that guy? So other than like the top stars, the top was amazing. Mankind, Triple H, Undertaker, Stone Cold, and on it goes. So I'd say that, but I will say that Ruthless Aggression was really top, I think, for talent and like quality of matches, and stories were really good too. But I feel like once they got into that, whatever, 2002, 03, Brock Lesnar coming in, and then like you really had the division of SmackDown and Raw, I feel like Ruthless Aggression did really great work when it came to storytelling and in the ring. So like Kurt Angle and Eddie and Ray and Edge, everybody, SmackDown 6. And then even on Raw, you had Triple H and Shawn Michaels, and you had really like heavy hitters. So I thought they did good in the Ruthless Aggression era. So it's kind of split, but I'll probably have to default and say Attitude. Carlos Chacon says, oh, this is a long one. I don't know if it happened to anybody. I didn't buy the 40 Years WrestleMania, but when trying to download the good versions of Brock Lesnar from Community Creations, it doesn't let me because I need to unlock his stuff from Showcase, but I already beat Showcase. I don't know what to do now. Matt or anybody in the community know what to do. By the way, great content, man. Well, thanks. I've seen this pop up a lot. So I've been able to download Community Creations version of Brock Lesnar. I have the 40 Years WrestleMania edition. I think that has to do with it. It must. Or is it? It can't be My Rise, because I've been able to download Community Creations Brock Lesnar without completing the My Rise story. So that's not it. So it's gotta be something to do with Showcase, completing the matches, all of it. And then it's like, you definitely gotta do that. And then maybe it's the 40 Years of WrestleMania edition, but you guys tell me. I have the Mania edition, so it just worked. I played Showcase, I got Brock, it was okay. So let me know in the comments. Zero Load says, that's disgusting. Says, do you think that we will ever get promos in a 2K game? Maybe. I think that I was really hoping this year they would do that in Universe with the rival reactions, where they would give us some sort of promo option in there to select, and they haven't. I think promos from this, like wanting them for years now, like last year for this year's game, and then it's going to be the big thing of discussion for 2K25, in my opinion. People are going to say we need promos back in the game again. I think it is possible, but we're not seeing the love, care, and attention to universe mode. Like, it hasn't been refreshed, it hasn't been updated. I feel like I got more chances that my GM gets those things integrated. They might. To me, it's the only thing that's gonna really like have universe mode stand out and feel more fresh is if they finally add promos in. So is it possible? Yes, but I think all that stuff takes so much time, and I get the impression that universe mode is a lot of sticky tape because it is an old game engine system that they have used for years and it hasn't been like scrapped and refreshed. I think next year, like, it could happen, but I think it's a lot of work for them to do. If they really want to focus in on it, they could make it happen. But I feel like My Jam is a better shot of being like, okay, we've added cutscenes and there are promo options in there, but now maybe they'll add My Jam with promos, like real actual cutscenes with it, and it might happen there. Jason Moon asks, in 2K, is there a way to just move the matches around on a card without deleting on an AI generated match card, i.e. Roman versus Cody in the third match and then Otis and Ivar as the main event? No, you can't do that. You gotta delete them. That is a good idea, to be able to just kind of copy and paste, like overlap from one match to the other, but no, unfortunately you can't. The Pebble says, which heel, in your opinion, in your personal opinion, has the largest impact in the history of WWF or WWE? Biggest heel? Hollywood Hogan comes to mind, just for the impact that it had on history, to the inception of the NWO with that. It was as monumental as it gets at the time to see Hogan go from face to heel, in that going over to WCW even as a babyface, and then making the transition to the NWO and getting that, because that sparked off the big rivalry between WCW and WWF for the Attitude Era. It pushed like all the talent. It helped push Stone Cold, DX, in terms of the ideas of the character of like needing to compete with what WCW was doing. That was the biggest shift in wrestling for its time. In modern era, it's really hard to say who's like the biggest, baddest heel that really is created. I mean, right now the final boss is like top tier heel, so I'm gonna say Hollywood Hogan, brother. Miss Mash says, what's next for Chad Gable? I think there's a chance that Sammy beats Gunther at Mania. There's a chance. You give Sammy the big feel-good moment, Gunther is shocked and in awe, and then Gunther can go off and fight Cody, or he can go fight for the world title at some point, unless Drew wins it. But we got predictions coming up. But anyways, I think if Gunther loses, then you do have a great story of Sammy going for his run with the belt, finally getting that proper like mid-card title run, and you could have Chad Gable be next and go after Sammy, and maybe Chad kind of finally gets away from Alpha Academy and becomes more of a heel, maybe just a little bit more serious. He's been wearing suits and stuff, so I think Chad Gable's kind of waiting in the wings. He needs something, and I think that the way to get that heated up, he could do much more of a jealousy angle and get very serious and go after Sami Zayn, where it's two friends that are finally colliding. They've been planting seeds of that, but it's only gonna happen if Sammy wins. If you just have Chad go after Gunther at like Bash in Berlin or something, he's gonna lose. So you need Chad. I think you need Sammy to win the belt in order to forward more stories for the IC division, like for Chad Gable. 1KQ says, do you see the Hardys back in WWE by 2K25? It is possible. There's been the rumblings of their contracts being up. They've done nothing in AEW. Like, they really haven't. For a nostalgia tag team act, I know there's problems that have happened for Jeff and all of that. So it is very possible. If they get released, I don't need to see them go on like some big return run. Like they did that with WWE in their last run. They showed up at WrestleMania. It was a huge surprise. I loved it. And then they came back and yeah, they had the kind of nostalgia thing, and then Jeff started doing some solo stuff, and then it was kind of over. I don't need to see that again. I would love it if they came back, because, well, I couldn't get the TLC match because I would be like, well, we got the Dudleys, then I would get the Hardys, and I'm not gonna get Edge and Christian. But I do think that it is possible. Get out of AEW, go back to WWE, get a big pop for a return, just to do like a one-off match in a tag team or something, put over a new tag team, and then go inducted in the Hall of Fame, and then they can go into 2K25 as legends. I Am Franchise says, who do you have winning between Seth and Drew, and who do you have winning between Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns night 2 of WrestleMania? I know you get asked this question all the time, and it came up in the comments a ton, but thank you. Seth and Drew, I have Drew. I don't think Seth needs a title anymore. Seth's done everything he can with the belt. I think Seth needs to go off TV for a while, in my opinion, so he can refresh and come back as like a new character, or just take a break, so we can have some fresh faces in the world title division. I think Drew needs it. Drew's character is amazing. I love what he's doing right now. And then we would eventually get the CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, and Seth Rollins all mixed up in there. Then you can roll new people in there, get Gunther involved in some stuff. So I think Drew wins that belt, and maybe with the help of the Bloodline. When it comes to Cody and Roman night 2, I think Cody does finish the story. For whatever the shenanigans are going to be and who's involved in that main event, night 2, then The Rock's going to be in there whipping people, and just the Bloodline and anybody else is going to get involved. Stone Cold Steve Austin, I hope, just for fun. I think at the end of it all, you still have Cody Rhodes coming out night 2 WrestleMania, the winner. Sooner fan. Do your children watch wrestling with you? I'm trying to get my 9-year-old to watch along with me, but dad is uncool, as the kids say. Dad is always uncool, my friend. We are not cool people. My daughter will watch wrestling with me, so like with WrestleMania coming up, she'll watch that. She usually watches it with me. My son does not care for it. He's just indifferent to it. My daughter will watch some with me, but it's not like her thing. But she's gone to like AEW shows with me, which is really cool. So she's seen wrestling live and she gets into it. So that's really, really fun to see. And then, yeah, like with WrestleMania coming up, she tends to sit down. She really likes like a lot of the women's matches. She likes Charlotte. She likes Bianca a lot. And she likes Becky. So yeah, it's fun, but she's not like into it, but not yet. Mr. Potato says, what is the feature, the problem in 2K24 that you hate the most? For me, it's the championships horribly changing color every second with the change in the lighting. For example, Roman's title looking black at certain angles. Really? I haven't experienced that. I've done a lot of title matches. The problem, the feature I hate the most, I'm I guess more disappointed the universe mode didn't get the love and boost that I wanted it to this year, because I haven't played a lot of it. Like I've gone through and I've done a bunch of the cutscenes and I'm just like, okay, this is exactly the same as 2K23 and 22 and before that, and it has no big changes. It's got more cutscenes, refresh cutscenes, which is nice. But for like a lot of players, there's stability, there's crashes, there's still the plaguing problems of before that you would think that by now it was ironed out. And it just doesn't feel like it's moving the franchise forward and going, wow, it's got this. So I find that it's kind of like the problem that I have, because everything else I'm kind of cool with. My faction's a lot of fun this year for me, and I wasn't a big fan of it before. So there's a lot of things that I do really like about the game this year, but I do feel like universe mode is that one thing where I'm like, man, I want to play this for a long time, but I feel like I'm just kind of rinse and repeat, run the same stuff. It's repetitive, and I'm getting just more fun, just pick up and play and do fun matches. Like I've said this before, but like I would if you're not going to be able to put the love and support and push behind and resources behind universe mode for whatever reason, because it's time restraints, because it's too hard, because it's an old system, whatever the case is for it, I would think that a good move could be, I don't know if it's even possible, but I would just allocate those resources. I would dump universe mode and say it's over, goodbye. I would dump everything into GM mode. I would see if there's a way to just take rivalry actions and put it into my GM with allowing players to add in a custom arena. You do all the match types, all the rosters, you create the sandbox effect, but now you have it under a very clean mode with a draft and trades and everything in my GM, and you can turn certain things on and off in there. And my GM is like a step away from just getting cutscenes, and that's it, like promos, like the customization in terms of an arena and a custom show. Like it's not far away from it. And then I would turn around and say, okay, we don't have universe mode as another anchor mode. I would put in like create a story and do that. And then that way, and start off small, because it would take time, and make that the big hook for 2K25 is here's a story designer. And it might be rudimentary, but they could patch it, they could update it and add more story threads and create the online aspect so people can download and create their own stories and share stories. And then that would be the big thing. And then I would dish universe. I know that's not the popular opinion, but I'm just saying that if it's not going to have the resources and the time and push behind it, I'm like, it's just the same thing every year. WrestleStorian says, I know that Ultra Pro Wrestling isn't out yet, but how do you think it will stack up against 2K based on what we know about it so far? I think they're both different, and that's great. I think that they're different alternatives, kind of like how Fight Forever was, where it's just like, okay, it's not competing with 2K. They're doing different, they're serving different audiences. I think Ultra Pro Wrestling, though, has a fantastic chance, and I'm an advocate for it, because I like the team behind it, I like the guys that are making it, but I personally, as a fan, I just like what I'm seeing from the game. I like that there is a wide breadth of moves that are handcrafted. I think the customization options are crazy in it if they can pull it off. I think if they have things like the create a pay-per-view and create the shows, the way you're doing it almost like a universe mode, it's really cool. The Legends rosters, the DLC they have announced, a lot of cool names. It's got a chance to really stand out. I think if they can pull off everything that they are saying they are doing, and that they're going to support it long term and add. I mean, it's going to do wonders. It can outperform Fight Forever from a gameplay perspective and a depth side for the creation suite. Create an Arena is in there. Like, there's a lot of excellent check marks. The thing it will miss for players is that it's not gonna have, like, it's not a WWE game, and it's not gonna have a WWE roster, but it's got so many legends and like indie talents and stuff that are out there that are gonna be part of this game, and they're gonna keep adding to it. So I don't think that they're the same. I think they serve different audiences, but again, it's gonna come back for me of like, how is this gonna come together at their launch, and does it deliver for what they are proposing, what they're showing off to us? Janos Conks says, is it just me or the ref's taking way too long for the pin? I can count to 3 before he gets down. I can do a much faster job as a special guest referee. That is true. You are a way better special guest referee than the standard referees. Yes, I hope this gets patched and addressed. I think I've even addressed it to 2K where the referee counts are very slow. I've noticed it. It's funny that in like earlier builds, when I had hands on with it, I found the referee counts actually very snappy and quick, and it was a thing that a lot of people noted, I believe, that we were like, oh, referee counts are better. They're getting into position faster, and they're a little bit quicker in the timing for the ref counts. That was the thing I noticed. And then when the game came out, I feel like it got tweaked and it did slow down. And now I'm noticing where I'm like, well, wait, this referee is taking like last year where like they have to get and run around in position, and then the actual counts are slower. They need to tweak that and adjust it. Refs need to just get down to the ground and slide into place and just count fairly quick. Hopefully it gets patched. I wouldn't be surprised if it gets patched. Dominic Brawler says, hey Matt, hi. Do you think 2K and WWE would give us DX Persona cards in my faction that would grant us the full DX entry with official music included, or even better, an Elite DX action figure version of both wrestlers unlocked for all modes? Or do you think it's a lost cause and it's up to commentary of the community, to create them as the best they can? I don't think it's a lost cause. Anything is possible. The Elite action figures thing, that is killer. I love that. I'm really into the Elite action figures they brought out. I saw that stuff it was leaked or whatever, like day 1 of the Hulk Hogan. So that's, I guess, is eventually going to come out. And if they keep doing the Elite figures, I really like it. And then give me like an action figure ring, an arena. That would be just so much fun. If they did it with DX, that'd be so much fun. Then that way you could add in the DX theme song and all the entrance stuff officially, and then we could copy it over to the other ones. I don't get why it is. I can totally, like, we don't get the stuff for it. I hope that the Persona cards, yes, I do hope that those come for DX along with others. I'm waiting for the Persona cards to update. Like, I can't get Seth Rollins' Persona card yet, or the Trick Williams. Like, they're not there in my faction to grind towards and get. So I don't know when they're releasing those. I could totally see things like a DX Persona card coming out. They did the DX stuff in 2K22 for my faction. Same with like Big Papa Pump. I want a Papa Pump Persona card. Give me that so I can get his full entrance and siren and everything. So it's possible. Brent Vader, what do you think about my faction? No, since we're talking about it, my thoughts: they've nerfed the rewards in in Faction Wars, made the matches more difficult. Also, the card market is ridiculously overpriced. Over 90,000 for Ruby cards. Unfortunately, it's a must play if you want to unlock all the Persona cards when they come out. I do find that the cards are pretty expensive. If you're gonna go for like a gold card, even like a gold Cody card, I don't even know what it was, but it's very pricey. Like, it's like it's your whole budget if you're gonna do that. Faction Wars, I haven't had very many problems with it. Like, I don't feel it's nerfed because I can still run through those, like, all of the rounds of it. Every time I'm gonna do a run, I've been able to go through it, but I'm doing stuff where I'm trying to get to the next one. So like, I'll win by count out or something, or DQ. And then that way I can just constantly run in there and go and find the right path so that I can actually get through it faster. The main event matches though against the AI, I find those difficult, but they're supposed to be. So I don't know if it's nerfed or not. The card market is overpriced though. I hope they address it and they balance it better, or make the rewards higher. That's the only other way they can do it. T-Beast74 says, with loving the WWE like you do, yeah, I'm a shill for the WWE and 2K. What were some of the sports, if you did you play growing up? Little background check on Matt. Much love, man. Yeah. I played baseball forever. So that was it. I played baseball at a high level all the way through until I got to university. And then that was over. So not that good, but I had a lot of fun, and I played that since I was a kid. Tyler says, do you think of any of the Rock, Cody, Roman story would have happened if Punk never got hurt? The Punk situation, the Punk getting injured, is a very interesting one to me, because I'm very curious what the plans were going to be. I think it would have been Seth versus Punk, and that would have been the match. Would Drew have been involved? Maybe they would have done the triple threat. The way Drew's been going the whole time, and Drew's character was changing while Punk was still around. So they could have figured that part out and made it a triple threat, and I would have been okay with it. And then maybe Punk wins, or Drew wins. Either way, it would have been fun. That still would have happened though, Seth versus Punk. The tag match, I wonder, because when Rock came out, when Punk was still around, remember Rock came out and he says, I'll sit at the head of the table, and the crowd gasped, and he was a face. The seeds were all planted. Rock was going to come back, but it's how it happened. I think the crowd, if they still went with the same plan of when The Rock came to SmackDown and Cody gave up his Rumble spot, if that happened still, because it would have been the plan, they wouldn't have just done that on the whim because Punk got injured at Rumble. Cody still won the Rumble, was still part of the plan. So I think they still would have gotten there with the tag team match, I guess. The question I guess I would have had is, would they have inserted Punk in the Seth spot for the tag team match and given it even more weight? I don't know. It's very interesting how it's all come together. There would have been something that would have changed it. Maybe it wouldn't have been the tag team match, and maybe it would have been, I don't even know. Would it have been Cody Rock in night one? Or would they have tried to just push through and gone with the Rock turning heel, or excuse me, with Rock Roman night two, and Cody's doing what? Would he have joined Punk and Seth for the world title? It's very interesting to see, and I would love to know down the road what they say about it, like how the original plans were going to be. Ruben says, what is your biggest annoyance with WWE? So this is getting way better. TV production is the biggest thing I've always been annoyed by with WWE. I can gripe about matches and segments that are flat or go too long, or there's not enough wrestling and there's just 30-minute segments on Raw. There's always ups and downs and goods and bads with it. But the thing that's always bothered me is the TV production of it. But right now, with new people running the production side, I've loved it so much more. So like when Punk came out, the camera followed him from backstage during his entrance. Or like Sammy went backstage and finished his segment, and they followed him all the way up the ramp to the back, and then it started another segment with The Miz. That stuff, I love it. Because it's authentic, it's real, it's motivating the camera and everybody else, and it feels like a real universe. It feels like it's a world, that there's stuff happening. I hate the old, and they still do some of this, but the production side where it's like the camera's just there. Why is the camera in the locker room facing these two wrestlers that are talking? Or they still do this, but like Adam Pearce, manager, is talking to wrestler, and then wrestler B enters frame. He's standing right there. Like sometimes they knock at the door, but the camera doesn't pan to the door. Like, why is the camera there? I like it when TNA did it, when it was like the camera was looking through the window and through the door crack, and they can listen in on the conversation. So I think they might get there, but that always bothered me. And it's still like a problem. Like, why is it just interview guests and just, hey, what's going on? I think you need more just natural backstage stuff happening, like they've done with those little moments of Sammy walking through, or they follow a wrestler through Gorilla. That stuff makes you stay and pay attention. I don't need just, I think the traditional way of like, my guest at this time is Drew McIntyre, cuts 20-second promo, gets interrupted by wrestler that was off frame right there. I'm like, this has been going on for 30 years. Like, change it up and change up the formula. That's been my biggest annoyance. They might be changing it. And that is Matt Chat for the weekend. Happy Easter, by the way, if that applies to you, but it's chocolate day here at our house. And quick note, if you guys made it to the very end, hi, thanks so much for watching. The one thing I will say is a quick thank you for supporting the channel. We are almost at 120,000 subscribers, which is crazy. We are constantly moving. We are constantly adding more content in. So just giving you quick notes here. Again, if you made it to the end of the video, you made it this far, you're in the deep end with me. But things like, we're adding in the sketch show for WrestleSketch, so new videos are coming out for that. We have our WWE Talking Heads Unfiltered show where it's just going and talking about big WWE topics. I'm loving doing that. it seems like people are enjoying that a little bit. The 2K content is still coming at you, so like all week of filming this, there's going to be way more content coming out for 2K and more. But the other big exciting thing is that we are actually going to be expanding the studio. So if you guys have seen in the community tabs, I've posted this before, but Studio 2.0 is coming and it should be done in like April. That's my hope. That's my aggressive timeline. It might be later, but and the electrical's in, so I can plug stuff in now and do that. But walls are going up, and then it's just design and layout. But the thing that's cool about it is that it's gonna let me get out of, and I like the space too, by the way, but it's gonna allow me to get out of just this zone, and this is very comfortable. It's very nice. This is what people are used to seeing. But what it's gonna afford us to do is to be able to just kind of expand it and literally have more space, so that I can do multiple sets and multiple spots to film. And so we could do different shows, and each show that we do here, everything can kind of feel like its own thing. So because it won't have the same background, whether that matters to you, it makes the difference for me to be more creative and have more fun and break it up and feel a little bit different. So we will have space for like the live show, podcasts. We will have space for like our live streaming if there's gaming. We will have space for talking head stuff, for our unfiltered and other videos like that. We will have space for WrestleSketch with green screens. So the production's going up, which is very, very exciting. And I thank all of you for supporting and letting me do this for a living. Thanks so much. Have a great day. See ya.